All right, shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash, Ma'amath, Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly and willingly called God of Jehovah, Bahashem meaning in the name of, Yahweh Shai meaning he who delivers, who the world ignorantly and willingly called JC today. I want to give a double honor to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well, and another double honor to my elder as well, Rahal Wannabe Yasha'Allah of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Salutations to the 144,000 hopeful elect, pushing this truth across the four winds, and to the one-third remnant believers in Yahweh Shemel Shah, Shalom, Shalom. It's going to be a quick lesson, going into those thermonuclear missiles, those ICBMs, that's going to hit and burn Babylon the Great. You see what I'm saying? But I'm going to start off in this precept in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, starting at verse 21. And basically this chapter is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, talking about basically how the heathen took no account of our labors. You see what I'm saying? And the Lord finally revealing us as being his sons. Basically the heathen envy us, not being able to do nothing against us. And the Lord turning the creature into his weapon, basically. And it talks about how the world will fight against the world will fight with him to be the revenge of his enemies. Basically, that world being the same world in John 3:16, the cosmos. But I'm gonna just get verse 21, being a point, all over to verse 23. It says, "Then shall the right aim and thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds, as from a well-drawn bow, shall they fly to their mark. And hailstones full of wrath shall be cast as out of a stone bow, and the water of the sea shall rage against them, and the flood shall cruelly come down them. Yea, a mighty wind shall stand up against them, like a storm, and like a storm shall blow them away. Thus iniquity shall lay waste, and the whole earth, and ill dealing shall overthrow the thrones of the mighty." So right, when it's all said and done, man, those ICBMs, they gonna hit their marks. They're gonna be laser guided, supersonic, hypersonic missiles. And the scriptures talk about how they gonna march, and none of them gonna, when they fall upon the sword, they ain't gonna be wounded, basically. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't gonna be nothing to stop the Lord's sword from hitting its mark. You know what I'm saying? When it's all said and done with, that the Lord had drawn that sword, like it says in the second Esdras 16 and 13. The Lord is basically ordaining his arrows and basically preparing it for the destruction of the wicked, man. So beautiful time to be alive. But verse 21 again, "Then shall the right aim and thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds, as from a well-drawn bow, shall they fly to their mark." Right, and you read about the flying swords, you know what I'm saying, the ICBM, man, that's going to fly and hit its mark. And it's nothing, Esau ain't got no technology that's going to basically be able to upset prophecy or, basically cause these, ICBMs to not hit their mark, because the spirit of the Lord gonna be on these missiles, man, when it's all said and done with. But it's the book of second Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 13. "Behold, clouds from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. They shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star, and blood shall be from the sword unto the belly." Right, and that's just what it's going to be, man. The Lord bringing a sore slaughter. You know what I'm saying? What the scriptures say, "He that diggeth the pit shall fall therein." America used these hypersonic, supersonic, thermonuclear missiles, whatever you want to call them, to basically be that hammer of the earth. And them doing so, they started a new age called the nuclear age, where everybody racing, to have these missiles. Everybody racing to build their weaponry up, their armory. They beating their pruning hooks into spears, putting all their money into agriculture into basically their military. When Trump was in office, he bragged about how he spent $2 trillion on the military. And now Biden in office, and now they over there begging for oil because they ain't got enough oil to run all these weapons, man, basically. But as long as Esau got that sword, he gonna feel like that everything just supposed to go his way. You know what I'm saying? But verse 36, and dung of man unto the camel's hoof, and there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon earth, and they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. Right? We right now we living in a time full of pride. All you see is everybody being prideful, women being prideful, boasting against men being prideful, boasting against women. You know what I'm saying? Not focusing on the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? That's all I see when I scroll on TikTok is a whole bunch of damn feminists. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be begging for our attention. In the end, and a whole bunch of pandering ass men. That's basically, you know what I'm saying? Jake mind not in the right place. They not understanding that the Lord is about to create a sore slaughter. And you finna feed them birds, man. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a great fearfulness upon the land. Right now it's full of pride. But the Lord gonna break the staff of Egypt. You see what I'm saying? Everybody just gonna go batshit crazy. Verse 38. And then shall there come great storms from the south and from the north, and another part from the west. And strong winds shall arise from the east, and shall open it, and the cloud which he raised up in wrath, and the star stirred to cause fear towards the east and west wind, and shall be destroyed. Right, and that's just what it is, man. You gonna have the going to the next verse as well. You're gonna have those when those missiles hit those mushroom clouds. What it says in Revelation 6, it rolled together as a scroll, and that's just what it's gonna be like, man. That mushroom cloud when those missiles hit. That when they talk about that great earthquake, it's gonna get so bad out here, man. Jake ain't gonna know if they gonna live tomorrow or die tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? Then they still gonna have to be worried about other shit. You see what I'm saying? The infighting, a whole bunch of infighting, a house divided can't stand. You see what I'm saying? And being that our people put their trust in this place, they gonna fall right with it. Though hand joining hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, right? And if you wanna be joining hands with the wicked, the Lord gonna count you as the wicked. Like I said, it's gonna become a day where everybody gonna flee to their own people and own land, and Jake gonna be still right there holding hands with Esau, saying that we all the same. Nigga, you 2/3 of a human being, still to this day. Verse 40, the great and mighty cloud shall be lifted up full of wrath, and the star, that they may make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out over every high and eminent place and horrible star. Right, those missiles gonna be hitting, man. Those thermonuclear missiles. You see what I'm saying? When Edges saw them, the only thing he could describe them as is flying stars. You see what I'm saying? Because he not knowing what we know. Now we here to see the prophecy play out, so we know that they missiles. You know what I'm saying? It says, verse 41, fire and hail and flying swords, fleeing swords, and many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees and wood, grass and meadows, and their corn, and they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid. Right, and that's just what it is, man. They're gonna go steadfastly into Babylon, America being the daughter of Babylon, Babylon the Great. And this is what's gonna happen. The Lord's word is not gonna return unto him void. You know what I'm saying? And it's not tarrying. And we see the prophecies playing out day by day. We in the mindset of rejoicing. You know what I'm saying? Because we know that the Lord is with us. We know that the Lord gonna protect us when it's all said and done with. But the scriptures say they shall go steadfastly into Babylon and make her afraid. They shall come to her and besiege her, the star and all wrath shall they pour out upon her. Then shall the dust and smoke go up into heaven, and all they that be about her shall be with her. Right, the missiles are gonna hit. Them 200 million warheads gonna hit. It's gonna be a big ass mushroom cloud. You're gonna have the rest of the allies still. The allies that was with them fighting gonna be welling. Be welling Babylon when it's all said and done with, man. All the rest of the ships, American ships that's still in the sea, watching that shit burn, they gonna be bewailing it as well. They gonna realize that they lost. They put all their pride and hope, the fruit of pride, the Marines, but not understanding that they should have been trusting in the Lord. With the Israelites that's over there fighting with Esau. You see what I'm saying? Right. And that's just what it is, man. Go to the next precept. Book of Revelations, chapter 18 and verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. Right, talking about, when the Lord beam his people up into the chariots, basically. The Lord beaming us up into the chariots so we won't receive of that second death. That second death being fire. The first death is when the Lord flooded the earth. Now he finna burn everything, via fire. It says, For her sins have reached into heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works, and the cup which he had filled to her double. Right. Look how this whore drop bombs basically on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. You read the articles, it talked about how the people's shadow was burnt to the ground. You see what I'm saying? So the Lord said, double unto her that. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get double of that. All the bombs that you dropped across the four corners of the earth, the Lord gonna add it all up, and he gonna give double unto you. You see what I'm saying? It says, verse 5, For her sins have reached into heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. Right, her sins reach into heaven, spiritually and physically. You got devil trying to build a damn space force, satellites and shit. You see what I'm saying? Exalting themselves above the stars of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? Being that golden cup in the Lord's hand. You know what I'm saying? Revelation 17, full of the names of blasphemy. Doing all these things, having two horns as a lamb and speaking as a dragon, exalting yourself as a Bible nation, but going against the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Constantly trying to slay the Lord's, not sparing continually to slay the nations and the Lord's people. You see what I'm saying? Your sins have reached into heaven. Verse 7, How much hath she glorified herself and lived deliciously? So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine. And she shall be utterly burnt with fire, for strong is the Lord Yahweh who judgeth her. Right, and that's just what it is, man. The Lord is going to bring all these plagues first. He going to break the staff of Egypt. He going to bring the plagues of Egypt. He going to have everybody delusional as fuck, except for the elect. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else going to be just going through it. You know what I'm saying? Because they hated knowledge or rejected knowledge, so the Lord going to forget them and their children. Verse 9, And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Right, and that's just what it is, man. Standing afar off from the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. So right, it took you 400 to 600 years to build up this, your enterprise. You see what I'm saying? The blessing that Isaac gave you, it took you 400 to 600 years to build it up. But the Lord said he gonna destroy it in 1 hour. He ain't gonna leave one stone unturned. You know what I'm saying? Verse 11. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore, their merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and of fine linen, and of purple and of silk and of scarlet, and all thine wood, and all manner of vessels and ivory, and all manner of vessels and precious wood, and brass, and iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of man, right? Because you know, we live here in Jacksonville. You hear about Jacksport and how we used to always take field trips there, and how basically America's the number one consumer. All they do is buy shit. They buying stuff from all the other nations, constantly consuming and what I'm saying, bringing things in and not really selling much things. So you see everything made in China, made in Thailand, made in all these other countries. But America, on the other hand, the only thing they do is consume. And that's just what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? It says, I'm going to skip to verse 17. Verse 16. And alas, and sing, alas, and alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster and all their company and ships and sailors, and as many have traded by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? Right, and that's just what it is, man. The Lord gonna put that evil thought in Putin. He gonna put that evil thought in Putin's mind. And he gonna start pushing them buttons along with Russia, along with China, Iran. You know what I'm saying? All those African nations that's joining to them. Saudi Arabia, all these nations, they in their mind they got the mindset right now that they got to delete Babylon off the map, because the Lord is putting that in they law, and when it's all said and done with, He gonna deliver His elect from out of here and leave everybody else here to melt. You see what I'm saying? Come on, man. That's what it is, man. We patiently waiting for this. 2/3 of our people, they don't want to hear it. But us, on the other hand, we patiently waiting for it because we know that the Lord is with us. But Revelation 6 and verse 12. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, meaning like if you see a fro and it's blocking out the sun, like a fro, like you stand behind somebody with a big fro and it's blocking out the sun, that's basically what it's talking about. Became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Right, man, going back into them stars, Salakia, going back into them stars, from 2nd Esdras chapter 16 and verse 34 through 43, the ones that went steadfastly into Babylon. It says, verse 14, and the earth departed as a scroll when it's rolled together, and every mountain and island removed out of their places. And you're right, and that's just what it is, man. When those missiles hit, like the Lord say, give unto her double. You know what I'm saying? Read about Nagasaki and Hiroshima, how the shadows was burnt to the ground. Well, the Lord gonna break Babylon so much to where you ain't gonna know where Florida was. You ain't gonna know where the middle of Babylon was, because the missiles gonna hit it and break this shit apart. Islands moving out of their places. The world map gonna look totally different in the next life. Just like when everything was together at one point and the Lord decided to separate it. You know what I'm saying? Via the flood. And now he doing a new thing. The Lord is basically, he moving his earth around how he want to do it. And he going to do it this time with the missiles. You know what I'm saying? It says, verse 14, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island removed out of their place. And the kings of the earth, and the great man, and the rich man, and the chief captains, and the mighty man, and every bondman, and every free man hid himself in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said unto the mountains and the rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Right, that's why they building these deep underground military bunkers, trying to hide from the Lord, and thinking that they gonna ride out the storm when all hell break loose, thinking that they're just gonna escape judgment from these missiles that they spent all their time and all their money and all their sources building. You know what I'm saying? They got the mindset to just start over, or we just gonna start over. You know what I'm saying? Because trying to fulfill that Georgia God song or whatever the case may be, thinking that they finna just fulfill their enterprise and you know what I'm saying, keep the earth. No, you gonna go right into them bunkers and you gonna get your ass pulled out by the elect according to the scriptures. Malachi chapter 4 and verse 1, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. Right, the day coming that shall burn as an oven. That's plain upon tables. Verse 2, but unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves in the stall. When it's all said and done, man, the Lord gonna call his elect up into those chariots, man. We ain't gonna have nothing to worry about. We ain't gonna be hurt of the second death when it's all said and done with, man. You know what I'm saying? Try to speed through these precepts. Get the point across. This is 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. Slovakia 3 and verse 10. But the day of the Lord cometh as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works thereof and that are therein shall be burned up. Right, and that's just what it is. The elements are going to melt with fervent heat, and all the works are going to be burnt up here in Babylon. You see what I'm saying? Everything here, the Lord ain't going to leave no stone unturned, man. But the elements are going to melt with fervent heat. The Lord said that fire is going to be so hot that it's going to melt rocks. You know what I'm saying? Fire melting rocks and shit. Melting all the structure that Babylon, that they didn't took their time to build up. You know what I'm saying? Elements melting with fervent heat, man. That's some hot fire. You can melt a rock. Because it's going to be the last precept, the end of the lesson. Pray that it was edifying and it reached who it was meant to reach. It's the book of Job, chapter 5 and verse 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, and in the 7 there shall no evil touch thee. Right? And that's just what it is, man. That six troubles being the tribulations that we're going to have to go through before the missiles hit. You see what I'm saying? The Lord going to deliver us out of all those tribulations. He said in the 7, that 7 meaning completion. When those missiles hit, it said, there shall no evil touch thee. You see what I'm saying? And that's just what it is, man. The Lord is going to deliver us from the power of the sword. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. And a weapon could be anything from a small syringe to all the way to a ICBM thermonuclear missile, man. At the end of the day, it's all the Lord's sword. You know what I'm saying? But come, man, I pray this lesson was edifying. Shalom, on to the next.